Shalom. Welcome to Rabbi Kaufman's Understanding the World. I am joined in the studio today by Mark Finkelstein of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Des Moines, and also by Professor Dan Reynolds, Dr. Dan Reynolds from Grinnell, or Daniel Reynolds from Grinnell College. Before I begin, I'd like to thank both the Jewish Federation for its support of this show and Temple B'nai Jeshurun for allowing me to keep doing this. You will notice something different about me this week. If you've been watching the show, you will know that my head looks somewhat different. It looks somewhat uncovered. That is because, and my hair has grown back quite a bit, although it doesn't look like I have as much hair on my head as I actually do at this point on the camera. With the glare coming off the dome of my head. But I participated in 36 rabbis shaved for the brave. The number 36 has to do with the number of righteous people in the world. It's double high, high being the number 18, which is a symbol of life. And a number of us, a number in the 70s, plus a number, about 24 more supporters, raised over $600,000 to help provide money for research into combating childhood cancer. And so many of us, many of my colleagues shaved their heads at the Central Conference of American Rabbis Conference in Chicago this past week. I actually shaved my head, or had my head shaved, at an event at my congregation at Temple B'nai Jeshurun a little over a week ago, and it was really a wonderful thing to take part in that and to know that we were able to support so many people in such a good cause. So donations are still being accepted. If you go to 36 Rabbis Shaved for the Brave online, you can find it. If you Google that, you'll find it. And if you go to the list of participants, you'll find my page, and you can even donate directly to my fundraising efforts. I think I'm down in the 70s. I'm not one of the major players in fundraising. There are a lot of people who raised a lot more money than I have, but it's wonderful to be able to participate, and it's a great cause to donate money to. It's put on by St. Baldrick's Foundation, and it's a wonderful thing. Anyway, as far as world news goes, perhaps the biggest news as far as an Israel-interested audience is the fact that the U.S. is now warning essentially that we're at a point where Iran is 2 months away from having nuclear breakout capability, which is what Israel has been warning about for quite some time now. The Iranian nuclear weapons program is pretty advanced. And so when we're talking about what the concern is, that's a pretty big concern. In the midst of that issue, we're also dealing with a situation in which the peace process has kind of ended and kind of not ended. It's pretty hard to figure out where things are as far as the peace process goes. The Israelis did not go through with the last prisoner release, the release of Palestinian prisoners, because they felt like there was no progress in the talks and they weren't getting anything in return for simply releasing murderers and terrorists and a number of other people. The Palestinians basically wanted to shift the blame for the collapse of the talks, or place the blame for the collapse of talks directly on Israel and not on the fact that the talks don't seem to have been advancing. And so they want to blame Israel for not releasing the prisoners as the reason that there's no continuation of talks. Meanwhile, they went ahead and applied to be part of a number of United Nations organizations. And Israel has said they will not continue with negotiations until the Palestinians withdraw those applications. And the Palestinians say, oh, yeah, we're going to talk through the end of the month of April. Who knows what all is going on? The Israelis are trying to figure out what the consequences will be, if, at least on their part, if the Palestinians don't back off from this perspective. And so the way things are working out, we really have no idea what the situation is, much less what it's going to be. In the meantime, all of this is happening the week before Passover begins, and that means that for functionally the next week and a half, negotiations are virtual impossibility anyway. So not much is going to be accomplished between now and the end of Passover in the third week of April. And so you're pushing close to the deadline that the Palestinians had set anyway. So they can talk about there being open to negotiations until the end of April, but you're really only talking about the end of the last week in April as even being a possibility for those negotiations. So there are a lot of different things that are going on. We'll talk about some of them today. Our guest, Dr. Daniel Reynolds, will be primarily talking about Holocaust memorials and tourism related to Holocaust-related sites and things. Very interesting discussion, and we will be joined by Dr. Daniel Reynolds right after this break.